For a character we learned about 60 chapters into the arc of Wano, Yamato has really stole the One Piece fans' heart. With, of course, Big Mom being defeated, she's now officially looked at as the strongest woman in One Piece, above monsters like pretty much Conqueror's Hawk user Boa Hancock, and we saw her damage she did recently in that battle on Amazon Lily. Of course, to Yonko Commander Smoothie, who we haven't seen much of, but since she's a Yonko Commander with a higher bounty than Cracker, she should be like a pretty top Yonko Commander character, Queen level, or a little bit under. Who knows, for all we care. Then, of course, we have mythical Zoan countering Devon. She has had shaky moments, but Saturn did hype her up recently when it comes to her being a savage of level 6 and having a mythical Zoan. And then you have to look at characters like, there's 9 characters in the series of One Piece that we have seen with our own eyes that have Conqueror's Haki coding. And Yamato is one of them. And she's actually one of the few ones that are active right now. If I could think about it, it's Luffy, Zoro, Rayleigh, and then I would say Yamato. I can't think of anybody else because Goldie Roger and White Peter are dead. Big Mom and Kaido are not active. So that's like 4 of them that are not active. And then, of course, you have to think about Garp. Garp is not active as well after the battle with Okiji. So Yamato is definitely a legit fighter. And especially when it comes to an Admiral and Green Bull complimenting her haki, you gotta give respect to respect is due. Now, you could argue if she joined Kaido's side during the Wano War, it probably would have tipped everything, and Kaido and Big Mom's would have won that war because she was very valuable, of course. You have to understand that she's probably above King, Queen, and Jack. These are the lead performers, the Calamities. And if she joined Luffy and left Wano with Luffy, she probably would be above Zoro, Sanji, and Jinbei. Now, of course, Zoro's a little shaky. Zoro does have Conqueror's Haki coding just like Yamato, but she's a mythical Zoan user with Conqueror's Haki coding. So she's pretty much has the same dog food as Luffy when it comes to prototype and has the Conqueror's Haki coding as Luffy. So definitely want to say Yamato, people got to stop sleeping on this character. Now, Oda is starting her very own cover story, and we've seen it, of course, when it said the Oni Child Yamato and the Holy Inari Shrine Pilgrimage. That is chapter 1110 that we just saw. And of course, she says she's going to travel all around Wano. So that is definitely going to be cool to see because we were pretty sad when she didn't join the Straw Hat Pirates. Now, of course, that was the second chapter of her cover story. The first chapter of her cover story had Onigashima submerged next to the old Wano that, of course, was shown by Oden's father to Robin and Law. So I definitely want to say this is, you have to understand, the fact that Onigashima is there, we know Luffy punched Kaido into the island of Onigashima, so expect this cover story to conclude with some Kaido Yamato story for good, putting closure to that. Because let me say this, guys, right now. Let me explain how Oda made this a big deal and we just didn't notice it. Yamato and Kaido's story is so big, especially when they're not even human, they're Oni. So I think it's going to be really good content now. And I think the way this cover story ends could dictate the main canon story. You see the title, Kaido and Yamato situation just got really weird. So like I said, Kaido 60 chapters into Wano officially calls for his son. Now that's a very controversial statement because Yamato is a woman, but she became a man because she wants to be Oden. It's not like she became a man because she felt like a man. She just did it because she really idolized Oden. So that's why I still call her Kaido's daughter. But Kaido says, yeah, where is my kid? And definitely shows that Kaido and Yamato, the fact that that's the way you introduce Yamato to the story with Kaido screaming for Yamato, shows how dynamic this relationship of father-daughter is. And then later on, we actually see that finding Yamato for Kaido gives the Flying Six a chance to challenge any lead performer. And Kaido says, you got any problem with that, King and Jack? And they say, no problem. But it just shows you how valuable Yamato is. The fact that Kaido is willing to let a Flying Six take out one of the lead performers and replace them and take their spot. Just showing you that Yamato definitely, Kaido kind of knew at this time that she was probably the strongest on his crew. And I remember that moment where Luffy's fighting Ulti, a Flying Six member, and of course says that Ulti is too strong and is about to go gear 4th, and Oda finally introduces Kaido's daughter, Yamato, and of course uses her father's move, Thunder Bagua, on Ulti, and it's damaging. This not only makes Ulti bleed, but it knocks her down as well. And you have to understand, Ulti is a very powerful ancient Zoan who's tanked attacks from Yonko Big Mom herself. So Ulti is no joke. So give credit to Yamato here. Now, of course, we later on see Ulti does roast Yamato a little bit, saying you thought that was a Thunder Bagua, it was more of a blunder Bagua. But that's more to Oti's character, yo. She's a shit talker because we see as she's shit talking, she's coughing up blood. So it definitely did some damage. We then immediately see Yamato casually blocking an elephant gun. You have to understand, this elephant gun's the same attack that tamed the Kraken during Fishman Island. So showing you how powerful Yamato is. Minimum Yonko Commander level, the fact that she was able to do that, because Doflamingo was able to do that. So this is all in base form, not even showing her full power, just legitimize the Oni King to Oni Princess connection here. And Yamato said it early. Yamato said, I want to be Kozuki Oden. Was there at the Hour of Legends when Kozuki Oden was boiled and couldn't stop crying, and even has a journal of Oden's life and adventures as a pirate and wants to carry Oden's will. The funny thing is because it's kind of like a curse to Kaido for beating Oden unfairly by distraction and then lying about freeing him after the hour mark, so when they're in execution. So it's kind of like this is like Kaido's curse, having Kaido's offspring actually become a huge fan of one of Kaido's top ops that's gonna haunt him with that scar and memories for a long time. Yamato then said, Luffy, you're very strong, and knows that Luffy hasn't gone all out. This is an epic statement because it shows that Yamato is not just a powerful fighter, but knows who is also a powerful fighter. And it kind of reminds me, yeah, that's what Yamato said, that Luffy kind of reminded her of Ace. And of course, Ace being Luffy's brother. It definitely a lot of compliments here. I want to say Yamato definitely earned my respect when she said these statements. We later on see Yamato says that she doesn't know if her shackles that Kaido put on her will explode, but knows what her father is like. So we get another deep dive into her father and her relationship and how rocky it is. And of course says that she's been beaten many times since childhood. So no wonder Yamato's haki is insane. When you have the strongest creature alive beating you up that many times since childhood, yeah, you better have Kakusaki coding and be a monster fighter. We even see later on that Kaido is telling everyone that Yamato will be the new shogun, forcing her to follow Orochi rather than Oden. And you have to understand, this is very poetic because Orochi was the one who, of course, took out Oden and became the shogun of Wano, which was Oden's actual thing. So the fact that he wants Yamato, who wants to be Oden, to become the shogun is crazy. But she refuses while calling her father stupid alongside Monkey D. Luffy. Let's be honest here. Luffy's my favorite character in the story, but the fact that she's calling Kaido stupid beside Luffy of all people made it even more funnier, guys. And then of course we see Yamato cries knowing Kaido really was gonna pack her out when Luffy of course uses advanced armor haki and takes her chains off. And of course Yamato is just distraught knowing that all these years, yeah, Kaido just looked at you as a tool, and Luffy tries to calm her down, of course, and she claims Kaido is not her father no more. But you have to understand, Kaido's character, his personality, he's just a savage, yo. Like, he just not gonna care about your feelings. So her crying was just literally nothing to Kaido. If he saw that, he probably would have laughed. Then of course later on we see Yamato remembering Shinobu's words, and this is what proved to me that Yamato was actually a big fan of Oden. The fact that Shinobu's words during the execution, this ninja Konochi, Yamato remembered this as a kid. It really made me a big fan of Yamato because she's not no fake fan. She's a real Oden fan, and I gotta rate it. And then Yamato even tells Momonosuke, Oden's son, that she ran to Curry to save him, but saw Kaido dangling him. And you have to understand, Yamato said, I didn't have enough strength back then, but now I do. Today, I got time. You guys all know that meme. And Momonosuke was not the only one tripping. I was too, like, yo, Yamato ain't no fake fan, yo. She actually got her facts straight. And then, of course, we see that Sasaki gets dissed by accident. Now, Sasaki, in my personal opinion, I always had promise of him being one of the top flying six because King did say that him and Who's Who had their own crews beforehand and they would want to be a lead performer the most. But after his performance against Frankie, I gotta put OT, Who's Who, and honestly, other flying six above him. But I do want to say this, Sasaki got this by accident because Yamato was protecting Momonosuke and Shinobu while also defeating his crew there, his underlings. And Yamato's like, yo, Sasaki's like, yo, like, come on, respect me. You think you can defeat me while also defending Momonosuke? And one of the more scary moments of Wano is when Yamato was about to one-shot Sasaki. When she's about to transform, you see her teeth transform into a mythical Zoan form, similar to Luffy almost going Gear 4 versus Yolti. Ironic because they're both flying 6. And it really showed me that, yeah, Oda was pretty much trying to tell us, yeah, if Yamato transformed Sasaki, there would be no Sasaki versus Frankio. Yamato's one-shotting him easily. And then, of course, we see the moment of Yamato trying to, of course, escape the island of Onigashima with Momonosuke, and goes off the end of the island and sees there's no ship, there's no sea, and realizes that, yeah, Kaido with his Delphin ability, the Dragon Delphin ability, is able to create flame clouds that, of course, helps him fly, but also lift the island of Onigashima, stopping her plan to escape to the sea while, of course, this battle was going on. And I also noticed when Yamato speaks of Ace, says, Ace is a man who came here to kill my father. Like, this is just, it reminds me of some, like, do you know those girls that have father issues, daddy issues? But this is on steroids because of how powerful these two characters are when it comes to Kaido and Yamato. Mentioning Ace as the man that came to kill my father really shows how complicated this relationship with Kaido is. And Ace even says it best. Ace says, it doesn't make sense someone this strong that isn't a captain. And Yamato says, I'm bored, so I'll fight. So Ace respects Yamato's power and wants to go at it, and Yamato says, okay, I'm bored, I might as well fight, just showing that Yamato is so strong. She's fought in Kaido so many times. A fight with Ace to her was like, okay, I can entertain myself. She is insane. And Ace says something really, really important. You can't choose your father, and pretty much says that hate for her old man, that she hates her old man that much that it changed her heart as well. Remember, Ace also has daddy issues with Goldie Roger, Pirate King, and everyone hated Roger, so it came down to him. The reason why he got executed was because, of course, Roger. And Yamato then takes down Kaido's statue, which is a symbol of his power because of Ace's words. So I feel like Ace and Yamato really built a bond because of their hatred for their fathers. And Ace, of course, being a real one, breaks Kaido's statue as well after Yamato as a warning to Kaido. So, of course, also Yamato didn't get the blame. But Ace never got that fight he wanted with Kaido, even though Kaido was pissed off when he saw the statue. Kaido, of course, we never seen them actually go at it, and Ace died 2 years ago. But I will say this, the fact that Kaido almost attacked Whitebeard before Whitebeard came to Marineford, definitely want to say it would have been cool to see if Ace and Whitebeard were at Marineford and then Kaido pulled up with the Rocks connection, and then of course with Ace and Yamato and Kaido mentioning all that. That would have been cool to see, guys, I won't lie. And I also thought it was very cool how Yamato noticed that Momonosuke has Kaido's powers, and pretty much it was pretty cool to see that she notices that. And then Yamato says she wishes she can help Luffy and take down Kaido as Oden. So it's good to see throughout the arc that Yamato is staying consistent with what she wants to do. And then, of course, later on, after finding out Luffy was in a 1v1 through Momonosuke's voice of all things, Yamato says she has to hurry because she knows Kaido's power. Luffy, at that point, yes, he was a Conqueror's Haki coding user. Yes, he had Future Sight. Yes, he had Advanced Armor Haki 1 and 2. It doesn't matter because that's still, Yamato knew that's still not enough to actually take down Kaido, and that's why she wanted to help Luffy so badly. And of course, after Kaido did defeat Luffy in a 1v1, which Yamato knew, Yamato calls for Kaido, and I thought that was very cool. And Kaido says, pretty much, you should call me father, but Yamato says, no, the bond has chained me down for too long. It's time to set me free. So Yamato's saying, I don't look at you as a father, and I'm about to whoop your ass, even though we know as strong as you're alive, that's going to be difficult. And then, of course, Kaido talks shit saying Luffy and Momonosuke are dead and learn to protect your pieces, you snot-nosed brat. And pretty much it's crazy because the chains are gone and you think you can just leave. Like, he's just talking shit to Yamato. And Yamato says, I'm going to go to sea with Luffy after, of course, this is interesting, after I drive you out of Wano. And Kaido technically is still in Wano. So this is reasons why I believe Yamato couldn't even join Luffy, because that mission still hasn't been complete. Driving Kaido out of Wano is still, we don't know if Kaido's still in Wano. Like, he automatically, his body has to be still there. So I think even if he's dead, you got to take that body out of there. But I don't think Kaido's dead, guys. And I think this cover story is going to be very, really cool to see, and how Oda likes to pretty much connect to the main story. Kaido then tells her Wano is special, so I'm staying, and you have no chance. Just become my shogun. And Yamato says, I know, I'm just going to hold you off because Luffy's going to be the one to defeat you, which of course happened. And I thought it was crazy because you have to understand, Yamato was at this point, she was the fourth strongest at this time. And if you think about it, before Luffy unlocked Kankusaki coding, Yamato was the third strongest in Wano, just behind Kaido and Big Mom. So definitely cool to see that she's so powerful, but she's still humble enough to know that, yeah, I cannot defeat this guy. And of course, Kaido said, I'm gonna go my hardest. I ain't going easy on you. Kaido even says something that I was even thinking about. Kaido says Yamato would be a great addition to the military power he already has, and it's great pains to, of course, get her Delver ability. It took great pains of Kaido to get that Delver ability. It's a mythical zone, for goodness sake. And she said that she only ate out of hunger. She was so hungry that she ate it, and it pretty much was not a good thing because she wasn't able to swim out of Wano because of eating this Delver ability. But Yamato also said she stayed because she couldn't abandon Wano. And if she did abandon Wano, she couldn't be Oden. It's a reference to her current cover arc that she's roaming around Wano, guys, if you think about it. And Kaido said it himself later on. Yamato's mythical zone, the Delph Fruit Makami, Dog Fruit, is incredibly valuable, and says the Wano guardian deity, and pretty much says that Yamato has to protect Wano for him because he has his Delph ability. And then Kaido also says, take over from Orochi's greatness of building all these weapons factory and rule for me. And Yamato says, I will free Wano, and does her own kind of like a last breath similar, which Kaido says, nah, I won't let it happen. And it's pretty cool to see Kaido, of course, these two mythical zones clash with their flame breaths. I thought it was fun to see. And then later on, we see Yamato is shocked that Kaido's actually trying to kill her. Like, yes, they're not father and daughter anymore, but she's still shocked. Like, you actually are trying to kill me. And he says it's not a regular family squabble. We're actually going down. We're actually fighting. And she says, what's wrong with admiring Oden? So it's a little bit of this relationship is interesting here, because even after she says she doesn't look like Kaido as a father, she still kind of like doesn't understand why he won't accept her the way she is. Like, she just can't understand it, guys. And Yamato's actually a very emotionally driven character. Like, we've seen her in tears so many times. Honestly, she's a very emotionally driven character, and Kaido is the opposite, literally the opposite of Yamato. He doesn't give a crap about emotions, yo. He just cares about the facts. And of course, we later see in the flashback that Kaido says her Conqueror's Haki is promising. As a kid, of course, she unlocked it. But if you are on this Oden types wave type shit, I should just kill you now, because you're going to be a problem more than a benefit. And Kaido told Yamato, I thought you were Oden, when she complains that all the samurai in the prison are going to kill her because of him. Just showing that Kaido can also do those sarcastic jokes too as well. And I thought one of the most coolest moments is when Yamato mentions all the people that believed in her, the samurai, of course, that believed in her and gave her food, even though she was the only princess. And she says, how dare you steal my freedom with these shackles, and goes Conqueror's Haki coding in her mythical zone form and clashes with a Thunder Bagua, with Kaido's Thunder Bagua. And this is why I say that she was the fourth active character to showcase Conqueror's Haki in the One Piece story, and the sixth active in total character to showcase Conqueror's Haki coding, along the likes of Roger, Whitebeard, of course Kaido, Luffy, and Big Mom. Those are some legendary characters to be alongside. And later after, Zoro and Rayleigh, of course, showed Conqueror's Haki coding. So definitely, and Garp too, if you guys want to count that. So cool stuff. And then Kaido replies saying, nobody actually respects you. You're an Oni. You're alone. Humans are scared of you. And pretty much saying the friendship of humans is beneath you. Just pretty much saying, have some pride for your race. You are not, stop trying to be like these humans, because she shows so much compassion, and these Onis are savages. And then we saw the build up with her saying divine step, with a team attack with Gear 4 Snake Man, and a Conqueror's Haki coding White Snake Princess attack that was very devastating, that actually knocked down Kaido. So I thought that was very cool to see, and very satisfying as well as a One Piece fan. And I thought it was cool when we actually see Kaido actually being defeated in that flashback. Kaido mentions the king, a Lunarian who was tied to the Void Sentry. Kaido says Yamato mentioned Joy Boy, because we know King is waiting for Joy Boy. And of course Kaido said the man who's Joy Boy is the one who's going to defeat me. So I think it would be very cool if, of course, Yamato sees Kaido again in this cover story and mentions Joy Boy again with being Luffy, and seeing that interaction between Kaido and Yamato. That would be very cool. Of course, later on in chapter 1050, we see Kaido and Big Mom falling into their holes in Wano deep down. And of course, Yamato, as they're falling, Yamato goes to, of course, catch Luffy's falling as well, showing how those two have fallen. But of course, Luffy is not going to fall. He's going to rise up still after this battle. So I thought it was a very iconic scene, seeing Yamato catch Luffy while her father is just going to his death. And of course, if you've seen Oden's father revealing to Robin and Law how deep down is where the ancient weapon Pluton is, where the old Wano resides underwater. And now we know Luffy sent Onigashima down there. Of course, Kaido should be there as well, and Big Mom should be there as well. Luffy sent Big Mom and Kaido down to the ancient weapons, which they said they wanted to, of course, get the One Piece and use the ancient weapons against the world governments, who, of course, disbanded the warlords and now are using SSG, these Seraphim. So I thought it was pretty ironic that Luffy defeated Kaido and sent him down to what he wanted so badly. Even had Fishman Jack going down there to check it out. But the final thing I want to say is connected to, of course, chapter 1000. Usually at the end of these videos, I just give you my opinions, my thoughts. But I'm actually, for the first time, going to bring out some evidence to bring out my opinion. Yamato in chapter 1000 says, like, pretty much is in tears when Ace says what Luffy's dream was, which is the same exact dream is, of course, of Goldie Roger, and she found out in Oden's journal. She's in tears. I think that'll be very cool if she's able to see Kaido again at the end of this cover story, and of course, officially gets Kaido out of Wano, like she said she wanted to. And of course, Big Mom is probably going to be gone because I think Big Mom is going to be connected to, of course, the Elbaf arc, and the fact that she said to Kid and Law, I'm not done, I'm still going to be coming back. I think it'll be very cool to see Kaido and Yamato put their issues to rest, resolve it, with the final words to Kaido being, of course, Luffy's dream, and seeing his reaction as he helplessly looks on, because at the end of the day, Luffy attack that he did sent him down all the way down there in water. He's love for user. Like Kaido, even if he's alive, he should be at the brink of death, guys. He shouldn't be 100% healthy. So that's my whole thought on the whole end of the Yamato Kaido story arc. It got really weird when it comes to this cover story. Of course, it's Oda doing this. And last cover story with Aokiji putting that stuff, definitely you gotta say Oda loves to now connect the cover stories to the main story. Why do I think Oda's doing that? Probably because of the final saga. And if you guys want to see more epic videos like this, turn on notifications, like the video. We'll try to get 1,000. Whoever made it to the end of this video, guys, if 1,000 of you guys made it here, like the video, guys. 1,000 likes to this video would make me so happy. And subscribe to the channel. We're so close to 100k subscribers, guys.